Niki, what age did you pick up the violin and what prompted this pursuit?
Well, I was 4 when I started the violin, and that came out about because of my incredible energy as a child. And some very wise person gave my parents the advice to put me on an instrument or get me involved in some kind of sport to channel all my energy. And so my mum I remember very clearly the day when she said, "What instrument would you like to play?" And the only instrument I really had any interest in was violin, because there was this girl at my church with the long blonde hair and she used to play violin on the band, and I thought she was like an angel. So I was like, I'll play the violin. And then I had lessons and it was like a match made in heaven for me.
Who was your first teacher when you started?
My first teacher was a lady called Maxine Komlos, and she taught heaps of amazing violinists that are now working as professionals all around the world. She's no longer with us though now.
Maxine Komlos, she actually taught my brother Ben.
No way!
Yeah.
There you go! Amazing.
Niki, did you always have natural talent and were you motivated to learn from an early age?
It's a really good question whether it's talent versus work, because as a child there was never anyone saying to me, "Oh, you're really good at this," or "You're really talented at this." And in fact, there was this amazing crop of young violinists that were all really good in Adelaide, that were, primary school age kids, and we would do Eisteddfods together and primary school string orchestras together, and I always saw myself as at the back of the pack. And so in my mind I was the underdog, and there were all these players that were just so amazing that I used to admire and look up to. So I just worked really, really hard, and I'm sure now looking back there was a natural talent there, but I was very motivated from a young age, and I'm sure that played a big part in it.
Niki, your gift, your musical gift has taken you all over the world. I believe you played for royalty and played for crowds of hundreds of thousands of people. Could you share a moment where you had to pinch yourself because of the enormity of the situation?
As far as like concert opportunities that I've had, I got to go to this little church in Venice many years ago, and it's the church where Vivaldi wrote most of his music, and the performers who would play these works and show them to what was their little world at the time for the first time, they would actually play at the top of this church on this up in the rafters where you couldn't see them. So you'd come into the church and listen to these performers play, but you wouldn't be able to see them, and it was quite an emotional experience apparently. And so anyway, I had the privilege of being able to go up to that particular area, which is this tiny little steep staircase, and they don't let anyone go, and so it was a real special thing that I was allowed to do, and I did a performance up in those rafters in the very place that Vivaldi wrote his music, and it was performed for the first time. So I've got to say that's probably a highlight and will always be.
Niki, your latest studio recording of Sacred, I believe was inspired by an intimate performance at a friend's bedside, and perhaps inspired by your relationship with God. Would you mind telling us a little bit about that experience?
It's very hard to talk about really, because it came out when I was visiting a man who was I grew up, he was in our church, and he was in hospice and he was getting ready to die, and my dad asked me, who's the pastor of our church, to come along and play some hymns because he loves music. And at the time I was really kind of scared to go and visit somebody who's is dying, and thinking this is really sad and I don't know what I'm going to do, and preparing myself for it. I didn't know what to expect, and I went into the hospice room, and as I started to play I just really felt this lightness in the room, and almost this peace and tranquility that was very transcendent for me, and it really impacted me just playing music and seeing this man. It was like he was just preparing himself to go, And it was very healing, and the reason why I called it sacred, because I really felt like it was this sacred moment in his life, and I got to be part of that.
Niki, as a person of strong faith, can you please share your affinity and understanding of Ephesians chapter 2 verse 10?
Yeah.
Which you've described once before as your life verse.
It's an amazing verse for me, because I think, you know, it's talking about you being God's workmanship, and in other translations, you're God's masterpiece. And I think it speaks to the value of every single human being, and you're God's masterpiece, and you're created in Christ, and you're created to do good works with your life. And so I just think that's a great calling for whatever you do, whatever you're meant to do. May it be something that's actually bringing good to the world around you and making a good impact on others. And so I feel like that's been really helpful in shaping my parenting as well, and just, you know, encouraging them that they've got so much intrinsic value, but also they've got a purpose in this world to be able to bring goodness and do good works and, you know, be of help to society.
Niki, you're a mother of 3 beautiful children. What role does music play in their lives?
Yeah, I mean, they can't escape it in our house. There's always music going. My daughter is definitely she's got the musical gene, and she's a novice on lots of things. She's not particularly focused on one instrument, but she's only 10 and she's playing cello, piano, she sings and she plays guitar. But the thing that's actually just come out in the last 12 months is she's got this beautiful creativity. So she started writing songs, and they're actually amazing. So I'm so excited for her, just that she's starting to find a place to express her feelings through music. And I'm trying to not be like crazy mamager, and just try to let her and encourage her to just be and do it her way, and just be an encourager rather than like, hey, how about this, or giving her tips, because that's not very fun. And then my middle child, Josiah, begged to play the violin, and I was adamant I didn't want any of my kids to play the violin, because again, I didn't want someone in the house playing violin and knowing I'm such an expert, I wouldn't be able to help having an opinion. And so I had to cave, because Jojo kept on asking, and so he's been playing violin for 2 terms and absolutely loving it, so that's good. And then my little guys started piano, so they're all kind of into music and just trying to encourage it.
That's great. Niki, you have this thing called perfect pitch, I understand.
Yeah.
Can you first of all explain what perfect pitch is, and then maybe I might just do a test on you.
Well, I call perfect pitch a curse, because it means that if anything is even the littlest bit out of tune, it just like ruins you, like it just grates on you to such a degree. And I found out that I had perfect pitch when I was in year 3 at school, and the music teacher did some test, and I had to put earphones on, and they just played all of these notes, and it was like, is that higher or is that lower? And then I came out like I got a perfect score on it, and then they're like, hey, you've got perfect pitch. So yeah.
Wow. Now I'm getting a little bit nervous about sharing our piece of music with you, because I'm not too sure if my voice is like perfectly in tune, but maybe we'll test that right now.
Test that, right. Well, I'm probably not going to say to you, hey, Adam, that was a bit out of tune.
So if I sing a note,
okay, you
could possibly identify that note, if it's actually in tune.
Yeah. Or if it's in tune, or what note it is. Yeah. Yeah, have a go. It's a little like A flat.
Sounds a little A flat.
Yeah, flat. Yeah.
Niki, classical music is widely regarded as high art. Where does folk music sit on the scale of high to low artistic pursuits?
So such a good question, and I'm so glad you asked it, because I was thinking about this, because we love putting music, and we love putting things in boxes that we can understand. And so somewhere along the lines, classical music was just the normal music. There was no classical music back when music began. And as the centuries have gone by, we like to organize different eras and put them into certain boxes. And then now we organize even types of musicians. So you're either a classical musician, or a jazz musician, or a pop musician, or a rock, or whatever. And then it's like, oh wow, that person crosses over, and I'm thinking, but it's all connected, it's all interconnected historically, but also so many of the skills are interconnected as well. So I feel like if you really look into any type of classical music, most of the music has got some kind of folk heritage, or something that connects it to a people group and a place and in time and a place in the world. And so most composers, if you're doing any study on the works that they've done, they're all steeped in this amazing folk heritage, and a lot of them are illuminating things that have been in their cultures for hundreds or thousands of years or whatever.
Is classical music in a healthy position right now, or is it in danger of being something that
Extinct.
we lose?
I probably have some views that may not be popular. I don't think that classical music is in danger as far as the music and the art form. It will always be. I think the industry is certainly has been in danger for a while, and I think seeing the effects that COVID-19 is having is showing that there's going to be, I think, a lot of changing to the industry. So, you know, symphony orchestras around the world have been closing. The ones that are still open, the musicians are taking major pay cuts. You know, this idea of being a paid full-time musician may not be a probability. I hope not, but I think that this is definitely going to change the footprint of the business of classical music, and whether we like it or not.
Niki, why is music such an important language and means for expression?
So many times in my life where I have just been struggling, or I'm going through a really big problem, or I might be a bit depressed, and I get the violin out and I play, and it just lifts my spirits. Or, you know, I'm going for a run and I put some music on, and as soon as that music starts playing, it's like something happens in my body where I just feel more relaxed, and I feel like, oh, I can breathe, and it's something that's intrinsically connected to, I think, our soul, that goes beyond our understanding. And I think that's why there's always going to be a place for music forever. As long as there's humanity, there's always going to be a place for music, because we're wired somehow to respond to music. It's got a vibe. I like it.
I have in mind a mystery. I'll explain while playing my part. I need some help to write the way, to move, to make a mark. Something to steer my spirit, something to heal my heart.
Is that accordion?
I'm part of a plan, and I plan to play my part. Music is a heavenly language that signs and speaks to the soul. But nothing good comes easy. Fingers are played to the bone. I'm waiting here in the hallway, preparing a change of the guard. I'm part of a plan, and I plan to play my part.
It's actually making me cry.
Give ears to these words. Play for purpose, not fortune or fame. These worthless things we've gotta ignore. When the time comes, will you come looking for me? Don't be afraid to ask the way. play for no more grief. I'll play by your bed as you close your eyes and drift soundly to sleep. From 100,000 faces to a hospital room for a last breath. I'm part of a plan and I plan to play my part. Give ears to these words. Play for purpose, not fortune or fame. These worthless things we've gotta ignore. When the time comes, will you come looking for me? Don't be afraid to ask the way.
It's really beautiful. Wow. I was not expecting that. I kind of thought that maybe you guys were just going to like make fun of me or something like that in a fun way, but that was like actually really moving. Yeah. Was not expecting to cry at all. Thank you.